Hey, my name's Cole. When it comes to restoring and refinishing furniture, I am a repeat offender. The fanciest tool I own is a cordless drill. Being a father to this cool dude is my most favourite thing to do, and I believe that if I skate often, surely I'll remain forever young. I recently moved into my new workshop, but it is still a work in progress and in desperate need of a personality injection. So I'm going to create a very funky custom wooden artwork consisting of 189 pieces. And I'm going to do it with the help of today's sponsor. It is partnerships like these that keep my channel going, so I really appreciate xTool agreeing to help me out with this project I'm about to tackle. There are plenty of unboxing videos on YouTube, so let's knock this out in less than 60 seconds with a little ASMR for good measure. Then we can really put these tools to the test. I want to create a piece incorporating a few cool things from my childhood, so I'll use a variety of veneer colors and textures to create the contrast, and use some scrap MDF to create depth in the shapes, as well as a solid backing board and frame. This MDF is 9mm thick, so it'll be a good test for the P2S laser. I measure up and cut down to size. The free xTool software is very intuitive and user-friendly. There are some great tutorials on YouTube, but I found the training in the software itself very useful and I picked it up very quickly. The camera is accurate, as is the aimed measurement tool. This ensures correct focus and accurate cutting and engraving. Because this is 9mm thick and I'm going to attempt cutting it with one pass at a high setting, I turn the AP2 air purifier up to its highest setting. Now I've got the doors closed in my workshop because I want to see how efficient this thing is. So once the machine is going, it gives you an estimated cutting time and a countdown timer, which is very handy. And I can see straight away the cut is successful and it looks very neat. Check that out. The lines and curved corners are absolutely perfect. For the frame of the piece, I use a scrap piece of birch plywood that I had lying around. It cuts with ease and on a much lower setting. I want to give my shapes a 3D effect, so I'm now cutting out the base layers. These will also be with 9mm MDF. Now you can see the amount of smoke inside the machine, and you can also see how effective the suction is. I still have my door closed, and without word of a lie, if you couldn't see or hear the laser operating, you just wouldn't know. I'm completely blown away by how effective the air purifier is. I didn't think it would be this good. This is an absolute game changer. These shapes have turned out great, and this is very satisfying. I now lay them out on the backing board just to make sure I've got enough shapes and it's looking well balanced. I now move on to the final MDF cuts, and these will be all the detailed components of the pictures. There are some very small details, so it'll be good to see how the machine handles them. This is obviously going to take a lot longer as there are many more cuts to be made. You should never leave the laser when it's operating, so I use this time to paint my backboard in shapes. Well, these look fantastic, and I feel like the piece is really starting to take shape. I'm excited but nervous to start the veneer process. Each piece that I just cut needs to have veneer applied individually. This will be very time consuming, and I'm not sure how small I can go with the laser as the veneer is so fine, but I guess we'll soon see. I lay the first piece down, change the setting to a much lower power and a faster speed, and hope for the best. Well, that is phenomenal. It looks really good. No burn marks and perfect cutting. This is really cool. I glued this veneer onto the first piece, and I'm using wood glue in a syringe. I found this less messy and it seemed to work okay. Once glued, I put the piece straight under a weight, as the glue does effectively make the veneer wet and it begins to curl up like paper. I then get busy and cut all of the other veneer shapes. I just want to show you how accurate this camera is. The reason I love it so much is that you can literally use every little bit of the veneer surface, as you can move the shape around and find a spot for it. Let's test this out. This one is very close to the edge. And that is an A+. The next test. How about these tiny details? Will it cut the veneer this small or completely incinerate it? Again, perfect cuts, and now I just need to put my steady hand to the test by gluing them on.
Ducky, one more kiss, ready, 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
It's quite steep. Good effort, bud. You're almost at the top. Now that all the veneer is cut, I begin gluing all of them on to the MDF shapes. I wish it was that fast to do the Rubik's Cube. Once dry, I sand every single piece with 240 and 400 grit sandpaper. They then get glued onto their corresponding MDF backing. A little bit about the xTool P2S laser. It is a 55 watt CO2 laser. The bed size is 26 by 14 inches and it can also cut curved surfaces. It has a dual HD camera and autofocus with a precision of 0.001. It is such an awesome machine, and I found the customer service to be spot on, which is just what you expect with such an investment. If you're interested in exploring this machine more, I'll leave a link below to send you in the right direction. I've also started using this machine with some DIY jobs around the house. I'll share those in future videos, or you can jump over onto my other channel where my wife and I are slowly transforming a suburban house into a country cozy family home. I'll also leave that link in the description. I'm so happy with how these have turned out. I'm inspired to make some bigger versions of some of my favourites and display them on the wall. I give them all a little hard wax oil, and once dry they get glued onto the backing board. Thank you very much for tuning in. I do hope you stop by for my next video, which of course will be a piece of furniture that is in desperate need of repair and a refinish. I do hope though that you've enjoyed this process, and I'd love to know what you think of this piece. I love it, but maybe I'm biased. Let me know, and until next time, you guessed it, take it easy.